Hello, everybody. I hope you're well. I hope you're good. Um, I thought today, not I thought, I like saying I thought. I always start with I thought. It's never a thought, actually. Driven. I was driven, Englishing is not Englishing right now. To tell the story of what I've just been through right now, right? So, I think I told part of my story in my journey with, it's called My Journey with, in using Major Arcanas, I think. It is released on the 6th of March, and funniest thing, today is the 5th of March. I'll probably post this on the 13th of March. So part of it tells my story about how I finished completing my degree and how I went to hermit mode and how like I completely not lost everything, but um, the true story also in addition to that is how the past 2 years, I've been struggling to get a job, went through a divorce, love my ex-husband with all my heart and soul. We're still dating, actually. See? Reasons for divorce are beyond us, actually. Best friend ever. Absolutely love him. We have 3 kids together. Oh, they're the best. In fact, four, because his nephew lives with us. So, yeah. And we've got 4 kids. Most amazing thing ever. We still live together. Don't ask why we divorced. It's a story for another day where you do something, and then you're like, why did we do that? But it's a story for another day. And in the past couple of months, I guess a year or two, I've lost almost what I could say everything. Like literally lost everything. I have no job. You know the things that where the material things, the 3D things. I have no job. I have nothing. I have no income. I do have a PhD. None of my stuff is being published. Good, like very good creative. Wrote a couple of kiddies books. None of it is doing well. Like nobody reads it. I do lots of stuff. Like I've got cards that I did, affirmation cards, which are now free actually. But you know what? Also which is a transformation that I've been going through, that not everything needs to be monetized. And because now I've just discovered sorry, I've just moved the chair there to be comfortable. Excuse me. Information now that I've discovered the creative part of me, and I'm loving the creative part of me. I've got this thing that I've got the creativity from source, so I'll just have to give it freely. It's free, it's out there, and it changes my perspective completely. And that's what I was going through yesterday. It's like, I get a lot of things from source, and I like sharing the stuff that I get. I like sharing knowledge, and I spend most of my days and most of my time, instead of watching TV and be depressed, as I become creative and write stories like kiddie stories, children's books, children's stories. And not that I'm okay for now. Thank you to I'll call him Boo. So from now onwards, he is my ex-husband, but also call him Boo, my Boo. That he takes care of me, and we all live together, so I don't financially feel the burden, but you can feel it now that we have one less income. Um, but today something happened that just devastated me. I I've lost a job. I don't have a job. I don't have an identity. I lost who I was. I mean, even the PhD, I still talk about it. It's like I didn't know. I couldn't resonate with it. I was like, what is this? Like, why did I write this? Why did I do this? Because now I'm depressed and I have burnout and I don't like it. But then today was worse. Today I found out that so I couldn't afford to pay my cell phone bill, for a couple of months. So for 2 years. And the funny thing is, yes, if you don't pay your bill, obviously the contract, the telco will actually give it to somebody else, or the telco will actually close it. It will lock your phone. And I was okay with that. I've been operating like that for 3 months. But the weird thing is that somebody else has got my number now. But I have WhatsApp. And how I knew this was somebody, they kept WhatsApping me. I'm like, why are you WhatsApping me? Where did you get my number from? And turns out somebody else has my number. But living in the country that I live in, fraud is everywhere. Telco might have given it to somebody else. But I think the point I'm trying to make, so that's the context of why I felt the way I did, is that for the first time in this journey, I truly cried. I truly cried and I said, okay, I've given up everything. I've done everything. Like literally, I'm a black woman from South Africa, and when you're a black woman, you've got ancestors that they need a cow, they need, that there's certain things that need to be done, sacrifice this, sacrifice that, because they've got a backlog of things they haven't done. Now you kind of clear, generational trauma basically and generational debt. Now you clear the generational debt, and not single-handedly, but my mom was very, very active in assisting me, my brother and sister, my boo also. And if there's one person on this whole, not earth, in my family who's done a lot of breaking generational curses, it's me. The thing that they don't tell you is about breaking generational curse is that when you break those curses, you almost get a new identity. Not almost, you do. And that death process is the worst. So I've been stuck in this death and transformation process. And with this number, the only two things I had was my ID number and this phone number that I've had for like almost 18 to 20 years. So for me, this has been my identity and part of my identity. And when I realized now somebody else has my number, so somebody else has my identity, that's when I broke down and cried. Cried because it's like, I understand everything else. I understand like losing a lot of things, losing and trying, I've lost like way too many things at that point that I couldn't care now. To a point where I realized actually minimalist life is the way to go. I don't need half the stuff that I had. Still do need my kids though. And the love I'm getting, the love and something. But it hit me. It hit me that I don't think I've ever mourned the fact that I've lost so much. I keep doing and I keep surrendering and I keep surrendering, but I feel like I'm surrendering, I feel like I'm surrendering to an endless process that I don't even know, like I don't even see the horizon, I don't even see where it's gonna take me, but I keep surrendering to this process. Sometimes you think, is it self-hatred perhaps? You think, then you start doubting yourself, then you start doubting things, then you start doubting your intuition, then you start doubting like, am I doing this because I'm thinking that there's something bigger and better and greater that's gonna happen? And actually, only now, after I'm speaking here, it's like, no, I'm losing the identity of generational identity to create the true identity, to match my vibrational frequency to the original identity that I was supposed to have, and all my grand ancestors and great grandparents and grandparents are supposed to have. So now, in shifting to that, is that there's some things I needed to let go, including this phone number that I love. Oh, my neighbor's dog also wants to say something. Yeah. Sorry about that, but they're confirming, confirming, is that I lose some of the things that I absolutely love. I lose my phone number. I lose that part of my identity. And I knew at some point I'm going to lose this number. But I was never ready to actually lose the number because I became part of my identity and who I was. So in building this new identity, I cried. Like I literally cried. After all the things I've been through, this was the hardest. I cried because it's like, now I'm really losing something. Now I'm really losing a thing that meant something to me that was part of my identity. And it, it, it the question I have is it's not that hard to get another number and share another number with all the other people. And also it could be that the people are not allowed to get access to you, not even supposed to be getting access to you in this timeline that you're in now, in this frequency that it's shifted in now. So all those people have that old number. So that old number, we let it go, but I still have the WhatsApp number for that. So I was like, okay, woohoo, at least, thank goodness, you know, until in such a way that when I let it go, all of it. So I still have a part of it, a big part of it, which is bigger than the actual. You can't call me, but you can WhatsApp me, which is quite nice. Because I also hate phone calls. That's the other thing. So yeah, now that I'm speaking here and actually thinking about it, it's all working out for me. Because I owed everybody everything, I'm still owing everybody everything. It used to irritate me. I used to get like 12 calls. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't have an income. I've applied every job. I stopped even applying for jobs because it's like, what's the point? Then I produce and then I get my happiness in producing things, in healing people and talking about it. Maybe perhaps the whole point is to talk about it. Every point that I have in this journey is to actually talk about it and share it because somebody else is going through it out there. So as I was crying halfway through, something was like, you know what would be nice? I think it would have been dramatic though and very manipulative. To just talk about it, plug it in, and just talk about it. But I was like, no, that's manipulative. So I think I'm gonna calm down first before, I actually just talk about it and share it with you guys. That of all the things that are not going or not coming or whatever, I think me losing that phone number was that part of my identity that I held on to a lot. It was a part of my ego. It was part of, what if somebody calls me, and what if a job calls me and this job now can't get hold of me? And now what I was doing is I was putting this hope on still finding a job and still being back in the matrix. But it's almost like, no, let it go. And it's still hard. And I'm saying this, I'm not, don't believe you me. I'm not saying this because I'm like, I'm letting it go. No, I am processing that part where I'm telling myself to let it go. Let it go. Let go of that number. That number is older than my kids, guys. No, not older. Well, at this point, it could be as long as my relationship, 23 years with Boo. But then I sat and I'm like, okay, the moment has happened. I've lost this one. Definitely not losing my ID number though. Definitely not having to let go of that. But okay, this has happened. Probably one of my worst nightmares has come true, and then I cried, and then I blamed the world, I blamed myself, I blamed everything. Like, why isn't everything working out for me? And the saddest thing is that that disturbed me from what I was doing today. And what I was doing today, from an epiphany I had actually yesterday. In the epiphany, I was just trying to understand, what is the whole point of money? What is the point of exchange? Because I could monetize everything, but I also feel like I'm monetizing something from source, and I believe source will give me what I need to survive, to give me the money I need to pay my bills. But it feels like, like I'll make $1, $2, 5 rand, 10 rands, 15 rands, 100 rands. I can overcharge people, but I just love doing it. And the minute I put money tag into it, then it becomes stressful for me. Then what brings me like the apprehension and the negative energy into it. But the minute I said, you know what, I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna design this stuff because okay, I'm gonna do another video on time and exchanging time as a resource actually. But yeah, I just came here today to say, we are going through journeys where we're expected and asked to lose a great part of ourselves and we are creating new paths, and the new paths need us to really let go of the old one. Literally going to a ish fest, like an ish fest of note in your face everywhere you look at. But you must always look up and know. And don't be pretentious about it also. Process it. Let it through your system. Cry if you need to cry. Let it out. Let it out. You know that cry, deep cry that comes from your belly. Let it all out. Because when you let it all out, that's when then you're like, oh, okay, I can get another number. You can still get a hold of me on WhatsApp. The guy can have my number. I move on. I still can't pay it. I'll pay it when I need to and when I can. And when I finally just crack it, I'll crack it one day, and I know I'll crack it. Whatever it is, I'll crack it. But it's also from a spiritual perspective, like, no, there's an old identity. There's an identity that is new for you that you have to craft for yourself and you create the new path. So what I love about this journey, it's not a eerie, fiery deal with your inner child, because your inner child deal with, high vibrational. it is an ish fest where you look like you're sitting with the dark night of the soul. But what I love about this is that it's a very empowering dark night of the soul, very empowering tower moment, very empowering death card, very empowering moment that I could easily sit here and be like, you know what, I lost my thing, everything. Okay, if I did this when I was crying, that's what he would have heard. But then when I cried and I let it out, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I went and I watched TV, and I was like, took off Canva, I took off everything. I'm like, I'm not producing anything. And then I was like, nah, it's fine. I'll produce it when I have to. I'll be creative tomorrow. And then I was like, okay, let me just now say how I feel and where I am today. So part of the journeys that they don't tell us is that in breaking the generational curse, is that it's not a break the curse and then suddenly you win the lottery. No, it's breaking a curse and then creating the new timeline, creating the new path for your generation. Because remember, oh, I'm not going to get into time now. When you create the new path and you're creating the generation, there are different timelines. Everything is happening in the moment. That's why everything is happening in the present right now. Your grandfather is still alive in some timeline. So everything is working out. So what they're saying is that, but don't go back, don't now try to get back your number, that cell phone number. Don't call us with this number, basically. Don't call us and holler at us and say, hey, how are you guys? Get a new number. Get a new number that's not attached to anything that is new. that is within this path that you're creating now. And that is the lesson that I'm learning from this, is that I held on to that number because, what if, it's like, what if who wants to get rid, not get rid, you see, who wants to get rid of you? Who wants to get hold of you? Anyone who needs to get hold of you will get hold of you. They will look for your number. They will look for your new number. Anybody else doesn't need to get hold of you. So that's my story for today. That's what I came to share today. And I'm not quite 100. I'm not quite better. I'm not quite I'm there. I'm healed. But I'm seeing, through it. And as I'm speaking to you, I guess the healing is speaking about it and saying, hey, this is what I went through today, and this is also healing me because I've got moments in this conversation where this is what's happening. Call us from a new number. Stop hollering us from the same number, because that number was the number you used for the old version of you and those generational curses. Now we've got a new number, girl. That number is the number for everything and the number for your new life. And everything is mathematical. Everything happens in numbers, you know. And my greatest sequence is the Fibonacci sequence, but anyway, story for another day. So thank you for being here. Thank you for always being here. Thank you for, even if it's one or two or five of you or seven of you, thank you. Really appreciate it. Love you lots, like super jelly tots. Um, and yeah, no, you're not alone in whatever journey you're going through. Somebody else is going through it. Then you will find that somebody else is going through it. So take care, and always be beautiful, be bold, and be you. I don't know, something's saying stay humble. I don't know why. But take care, guys. See you next time. Bye.